Video number 2, how are you? So I was just explaining that in the States it is called self-rising flour. That just means it has raising agents in it, which is really good. If you get plain flour, it doesn't have the raising agents in it, and then you have to add things. So if you can get the self-rising flour, brilliant. It's called self-raising over here, but it's pretty much the same thing. If you get self-rising flour, brilliant. Again, this is the same amount as your sugar. I will put this in the recipe ingredients too anyway separately. But basically, again, it's you use 2 1/3, 1 1/4 cup and 1 tablespoon measure. Make sure you're not using the teaspoon measure, it's the tablespoon measure, okay? That equates to 6 ounces. So that's good. So we've got our lemons here. You also want to have 4 ounces of milk. This is I can't remember what it's called there. It's not the whole milk. It's not the fat-free. It's I think the semi thing, but you can use whole milk. Whole milk's absolutely fine. So 4 ounces of that. So if you have a cup like this, and this is from the States, so I know they exist, but in here the measurement looks at, it's 4 ounces or half a cup of milk. Okay, that's what it looks like though. So it's not that much, okay, but it's half a cup of milk. So we'll set that aside. Just a note though about the flour, which I've already weighed it out earlier. The recipe does call for you to sieve your flour. So once you've measured it out, or as you're measuring it out, you want to put it in a sieve and let it sieve through that, and that brings air into it. So it's nice and smooth, there's no lumps, but importantly it gives it a nice air throughout it, and you can see it's all lovely and softies there. This also calls for a pinch of salt. So we'll do that as you know, when I'm mixing it up, I will do a pinch of that. It also calls for, just before I forget, the eggs that you use. Try and take your eggs out way before you make the cake, so they're nice room temperature, okay? It just helps to make a nice cake. The same is for your butter. When you're doing a cake, if you put cold butter in, it's hard, it's very hard to mix, and it's generally not a great idea. Now this recipe calls for, now this is the only thing I'm a little bit unsure of in terms of cups. I think it's 5/8 of a cup, but honestly, I can't be sure. Usually when you get your butter like this and you want it to be unsalted, okay, make sure it's unsalted butter. Usually when you get your packet, it will say the weight on it somewhere. Now this is in grams because we're in Europe, but American weights, they often put ounces. So that is the equivalent of you need 5 ounces, okay? So, and there's a double reason why I'm showing you the butter in this use. So first of all, I'm going to measure out 5 ounces, and like so. Monty's being so good with the camera, it's unbelievable. Right, Monty? Cameraman? So we're gonna measure out. So I want you to see, in a way, what 5 ounces kind of looks like. Oh, nearly there. Lovely. Remember, unsalted butter, very important. Because if you use salted butter, well, it just makes it too salty. And you can control your salt by adding salt to it, but when it's salted butter, which often butter is, unless it says it, you must get the one that says unsalted. Okay, so do you want to